Hi, welcome back to another episode of Bake and Make. I'm Angela Capeski. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this cheeky 50 Shades of Grey cake. Now first what you need to start off is by making the handcuffs, and I've made one part there as you can see. So you need to take some grey fondant and you need to roll this out into a long piece. Now one side needs to be thinner than the other, so as you can see there we've got one side which is thick and the other side is thin. Now I'm just using a ruler and a smoother as well, just to get that even shape there. So now we just need to push that down so we've got a flat surface there. So just smooth that out, just like that, and use your fingers there on the side to give it an even line, as you can see there. Now you need to take a sharp knife and you need to cut both sides, as you can see there, and then take that piece and curve it around. So as you can see there we've got a thick part and it comes down into a thin piece. So just use your fingers to smooth that out until you get that required shape there. Take your knife and just slice that piece off, and we're going to use that piece later on. Now I'm using baking paper here. It's just easier to work with the pieces, and they can dry much easier instead of handling them. So just take a ruler here and you're going to make an indent all the way around the handcuff there. So just slice that around just like that. And just smooth it out there. Now using a 3 centimeter round cutter, just cut off the edge there into a round section and take a sharp knife and cut that on an angle there at the top. Now I'm using a little tool here. You can use a knife if you wish, or a skewer, and just make some indents up the top there, just like that. Now take your other piece from before, and we're going to use that same round cutter to cut the curve off there on the end, and just push that down with your fingers. I'm going to take some sugar glue or water and just place some there on the edge and stick that on, and curve that piece around as well so it reaches the top part there. Okay, now what you need to do is take a sharp knife and you need to slice that section there. So just cut that in and lift that up. Just like that. And take some sugar glue and place some there on the edge. And we're going to stick that piece and it's going to go into that cut section there, as you can see, and just push that down there. Take your smoother and just push that down so it's all even. Now you need to roll out 5 tiny balls, and we're going to stick those on there. So just place one down the bottom, and I'm going to put 4 up the top there. So just roll them out like that. They have to be quite small, and then just stick them up the top there. Just like that. Now it's best to leave these to dry overnight so they're easier to handle. I'll make the little indents there with a knife as well. Now we're going to make the chain section for the handcuffs, and you need to cut out 4 small strips and then just bend them around like that into an oval shape. Just like that, and it's best to work these on a board so they can dry without handling them. And then just thread each one through, as you can see there. Same with the other piece. And we'll do the last one there and leave this to dry. I need to roll out a long thin strip, and we're going to make the key here. So I've got one thick strip there on the board with a small piece, and the other strip is going to be for the top part of the key. So what I'm doing is I'm just threading it around, making that shape there. Just like that. You can print a picture off the internet if you need to work to see how it's done. So I'm just curving them around there and finishing it off there in the centre. I'm going to take your long piece there, and I'm just going to stick it to that top piece. Make sure that's straight and cut that off just like that, and take some sugar glue. I'm going to stick that small piece to the bottom there of the key. Take a knife and cut that section there on the side, and do the same at the top, make little indents. Okay, now I'm going to make the chain. So just using a little tool or a skewer, and just make little marks there, as you can see. Just thread that around and stick that on there. Now I've got some silver edible paint here, and we're going to paint the handcuffs and the key and the chain there. So just paint that on and leave them to dry overnight. Now I've baked a 9 by 13 inch rectangular cake here. It's a red velvet cake. I haven't made a video yet, but I will be making a video on this recipe shortly. You can use the packet mix or my vanilla cake recipe, which I'll leave in the link below. Now I'm using chocolate ganache here, and we're going to fill the layers there. I'll leave the link in the description below for my chocolate ganache recipe. So just fill the layers and place that cake on the top there. Now the total height is around 6 centimetres of the cake. And just spread that ganache on the side. Now this is the template where we're going to cut the book from, and I've measured this at 17 centimetres by 25 centimetres. So I've just cut that out from a cardboard board. And you need to spread some ganache on that board there, so we can stick that to the cake. Now just turn that around, and we're going to place that on top of the cake there so it sticks. Now taking a sharp knife, we're going to cut out the cake there. So just make sure that you keep your knife straight and slice that down. And we'll do that to every side. Again, keeping the knife straight. Slice that down and remove the excess cake there. I need to take the cake, and we're going to turn it around. So just put your hand there and flip it over. Now we're going to place that ganache, and we're going to spread it over the side of the cake. And we'll do some on the top as well. So just spread that out evenly. Now using a scraper, we're just going to scrape the sides and make it into a nice even finish. So just remove that excess ganache there, and what you're doing is you're just pushing down and lifting back. So just pulling it back, and you'll end up with a nice even finish, as you can see there. And just place this in the freezer for about 15 minutes. Okay, I've got some hot water here and a pastry brush, and what we're going to do with this hot water, we're going to just spread that on the side of the cake so we can stick our white fondant on there. Don't put too much water, just a little bit will be enough. Roll out some white fondant and smooth that out, and taking a pizza cutter, we're going to cut down a long strip, and this is going to be for the side of the book. So we're just going to be covering the side of the cake. So I've just cut that down there, and we're going to cover 3 sides of the cake. So we're going to leave one side empty there. So just start from the end there and work your way around. So just stick that there to the cake using your hand, and we'll do that around there as well. So again, just smoothing that out with your fingers, and we'll finish it off on that side there as well, just like that. Now take a pair of scissors and you're going to cut that excess top off. So just slice it on a straight, it must be straight, so we can place the black fondant over the top. So do that to all 3 sides. As you can see there. And cut your ends off as well there with the scissors as well. Take a smoother and just smooth out the sides there so you've got a nice even finish on all 3 sides. Now I'm using a ruler and we're going to make the little pattern there on the side of the pages. So just push that down, make sure that it's straight, and just run the edge of the ruler along. So you need to do this on all 3 sides. Just use a knife to finish that off. Now roll out some black fondant. This is going to be for the top of the book. We need to cut it out into a rectangular shape there. You need to have enough to cover the side and the top of the cake. So just take that black fondant and we're going to place it over the top. Just place it over like that. Doesn't matter if it overhangs, we're going to fix that later on. So just smooth that out, as you can see there. And then just take your smoother and smooth the top part. And then just take a piece of cutter and cut that excess fondant off in a straight line. And smooth the sides as well. Now continue to do this until until there's no obviously visible creases or anything on that fondant there. So now take a pair of scissors and we're going to cut that excess off. It has to be quite close to the edge there. And do this all the way around. Just like that. Be careful not to cut too much off. And do the same with the other side. Just like that. Slice that down. And same with that section as well. Just smooth that out again with your smoother. And finish it off with a blade. So just slice that down on all 3 sides. So I'm just pulling back and slicing it, the excess off there. Now what I've done here is I've printed out a template from the book cover, and it's the same size as that bottom cardboard template that we used to cut out the cake. So I've cut out the tie section and I've rolled out some grey fondant, and I'm going to use that template to cut out that tie so we can stick it on the top of the book cover. So just cut around that template. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick that tie on top of the book. So just place that there on an angle. and lift up the top part there, and same with the bottom part. Okay, what you need to do is the middle section of the tie. Now I've cut out a small piece there, and it needs to be about 1 centimetre bigger on both sides. So just place some sugar glue or water on both sides. Turn that around and place some on the other side as well. Now we're going to work with it upside down, so turn it around, and we're going to stick it there on that middle section, up and over, and flip it around there. Now I'm using an edible texture here. It's black, so using that, going off that template, we're going to draw those the little patterns there on the tie. So just working from that picture, just draw it all over the tie, starting from the bottom and working your way up, and finish it off the end there. Now I've got some silver luster dust here. You can buy this online, on eBay, on Amazon, or at any cake decorating supply. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a small paintbrush and just place a bit in the lid there. Now don't use too much of this because it's quite messy, it does go everywhere. So just spread that out all over the tie. Now I've covered a 15-inch round board here with white fondant and placed a ribbon around. And I'm going to use some royal icing to stick the cake onto that board there. So just place a little bit there and spread that out. I've put it over to the left a little bit. Take your knife, and we're just going to put the knife underneath the cake, lift it up and place it on the board there. Use your knife and place it down. Okay, I've got an edible image here. If you don't have access to an edible printer, you can take your artwork into any cake shop or cake decorating supply store, and they can have this printed off for you. So just cut out the little prints there, and place some water or sugar glue on the back, and we're going to stick the little artwork there on top of the cover. Do the same on the side. So just place some sugar glue or water on the back there and stick it on the cake, just like that. Now we need to stick our little figurines on the board. So just position them where you'd like them. I've placed them on the side here. You could just move them around. So again, just using some sugar glue or water, just place a little bit on the back and then just stick them there on the front there. And we'll do the same with the key. And there we go, it's all done, our cheeky 50 Shades of Grey cake. I really enjoyed making this cake and had a lot of fun with it as well. I hope you guys have fun making it or even watching the video. So I'll leave a link in the description below to my chocolate ganache and my vanilla cake recipe. And I'll also leave a link to my Facebook page where you can follow me through Facebook. And also please feel free to subscribe to my channel as I upload videos on a weekly basis. And I can't wait to show you another video again soon. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.